Seyi Shay. What can I say? A Nigerian singer, songwriter, actress, and all-around businesswoman. Many of you may know her for the musical success that she's had, from touring with Beyonce to creating amazing music with the likes of Wizkid, Yemi Alade, and Tiana Taylor, to name a few. In this episode, she gives us an insight into her journey to stardom, touching on things that you have not heard her speak about on any other platform.
Maybe bad choice in friends.
From her love life to career mistakes and lessons, this is an episode you do not want to miss. My name is Jordan Johnson, and this is Seyi Shay. Welcome to My Mistakes Made Me.
Welcome back, everybody, to the My Mistakes Made Me podcast. You're with Jordan Johnson and our second special guest who's come onto the show for episode 2, Seyi Shay. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm blessed. You have to let them know I'm all the way in Nigeria right now, Lagos. Just streaming to you at the moment, but it's a very big honor to be here talking to you guys.
Amazing. We're so excited to have you on the show. I mean, we know you've been around the world, you've done some amazing things, and your journey to stardom and your journey to success has been, well documented. But we don't want to talk about how it started and how it's going, but we want to focus on the things that maybe people don't necessarily like to talk to you about. We want to focus on those things that could have been hiccups or things that were difficult in your journey, and really, highlight those things in hopes of helping people. So, our first question to you would be, what is a mistake?
Mistake, something that happens that you didn't mean for, you didn't mean to happen. It's like you didn't premeditate the outcome, and you took the step or you made the decision. And mistakes can either have negative or positive repercussions, but they're normally seen as negative. And to me, I don't think I make mistakes at all. I don't think I've ever made a mistake. I think I've made bad decisions, but I've never made mistakes. And I can put my hand on my chest and say that. Not in a prideful, big-headed, egotistical way, just that my mistakes made me, literally, which is what your podcast is called, right? And so every ramification of that is exactly what I'm saying.
Absolutely. And this is where we get to the beefy question, which is the biggest one. And this question, from a lot of people, they hear it and they're like, oh my days, I don't really want to talk about this. But for us, it's really interesting to see somebody who's been able to achieve, the goals they set themselves, and just basically talk, in raw honesty. So for the second question, it was going to be, what was your biggest mistake, or what do you feel like is one of the biggest mistakes you've made in necessarily career? It could be life, your journey.
Like I said, I don't want to call it a mistake, but I will say decision. What's the worst decision I ever made? And I say bad decision because if I didn't make that decision, I probably still would have gotten to where I am now, or maybe further. But I had to go through the lesson that journey brought me, and that journey put me through to be able to be where I am today, stronger, still mentally, ready for what's about to come, what I'm working towards. I'm still fighting for my career. I'm still fighting for, I'm still in the pursuit of happiness. But I'm still in a better position than most people, or a lot of people that I know. So maybe there's so many things, like I'm in my 30s now. So maybe the bad choice in guys, as a woman, obviously. Maybe bad choice in friends growing up as well. Bad choice in music management, closer to, my business and my career. And so I've made bad choices and bad decisions in those areas. Mistake, I don't really like that word, because I don't think that I would have taken any other option.
I think the word mistake has a bad connotation in a sense. People think, the when you say mistake, it's instantly something that you regret or instantly something that you feel like you shouldn't have done. But from our point of view, bringing people on board and bringing someone like yourself, which is amazing, to talk about maybe these bad decisions, as you said, talks of wisdom. It's the only way we can grow. It's the only way we can learn and build on these things. And I know you've got a lot of wisdom, when it comes to some of the decisions you've made. So I wanted to know, how, specifically maybe a scenario where you feel like this bad decision may have shaped your outlook in life.
Well, yeah, okay. So let me start with guys, because I'm a female. There's some guys that, one or two guys in my past that I probably chose to be with, get with, and start relationships with, and but I knew somewhere along the line in a relationship that they were not good for me. All right, one of them was a complete narcissist and only out for themselves. And even though we did do music together, actually, funnily enough, we did music together, which wasn't uncommon in my growing up and in my relationships with some of the guys that I dated. But one was a complete narcissist and only in it for himself, but I still chose to ignore the red flags, the signs, the lies, the deceit, the distracting me from my own path in music to fulfill his own. And eventually, anyway, I had basically put my pursuit of, musical success and on the side burner to basically help his and fuel his. And so I was making all the contacts for him, all the networks. I was recording his demos. I was doing everything, and literally just trusting that he would bring me in when the time came. And that didn't happen. So that really had a really big impact on my earlier musical journey, because at the time when he did now leave and he actually did blow up, he didn't remember me, didn't think about me, and I had already wasted so many years that I could have just been developing myself, my own music, being managed and just facing my front, day in my day, basically. But I was, in love or what, just kind of trusting that this person would carry me along. So, that's what I learned from that, is basically you have to literally put yourself first. I know it sounds cliche, but especially in industries where you want to thrive, you literally have to put yourself first and have all of your I's dotted and your T's crossed. Contractually, forget love. There is no love in this industry. It's a dog-eat-dog industry at the end of the day. So I've learned that. May have learned it a bit late, but I learned it at the same time. And it had a knock-on effect on me because I was quite depressed for a long time, for many years. And I don't think he ever knew the impact that he had on me. But I was quite depressed for a long time. And so I immediately lost my sound. I didn't really know what my sound was anymore, who I was, because a big part of my music and my recording, my early demos were made by, he was the sound of that. And so when he left, I kind of just lost myself and lost my way and was really hurt. So brokenhearted and shafted at the same time. So that's one mistake when it comes to, guys. And then something similar kind of happened again, but not exactly the same, but just in the sense that, you kind of like give so much of yourself, especially when you're passionate about something like my career, like my music, you give so much of yourself to a situation or to a project, and then you don't have the right support or backing or advice, and you just think, well, because I'm passionate about music and I love to sing and I love to write, I don't care about the money. I'm just gonna keep recording and take every opportunity that comes. And I'm gonna travel to every country, sign every contract without getting it looked at properly. I'm gonna waste all my money, spend all my money on making sure I can pay for that session, pay for that record, but you don't really think about the reality of music business, which is it is a business. So people are always going to be around you, especially if you have a talent, to take from you or to use you in one way or another. And if you're not thinking about it, if you're not careful about the mistakes that you make or you could potentially make, nobody else will be. And so I went through that phase as well. So yeah, those two experiences had knock-on effects. Wow. But they also made me who I am today, which is wiser, stronger. Yes, I don't trust nobody anymore, but I trust myself though, right? So I trust myself enough to know that my business side, my paperwork is on point and is right. And if I'm gonna date anybody in the industry or date anyone that does anything remotely close to what I do, we are not going to make business with it. Or if we have to, because it's natural sometimes, you know, intertwine both with you and your partner doing something that you both like, that you both enjoy, you both do for a living. It's natural to come together and sometimes join on certain projects. But even then, contracts are important, and you know, just kind of keeping personal and business as separate as possible. So those are the lessons learned.
Powerful. It's really interesting you say that. You know, I know a lot of artists struggle with, you know, the business side of things because passion can take over, and we don't necessarily look at, you know, everything as ruthlessly when it comes to, you know, business side and money side of things. There was actually an artist recently that signed a record deal which had 24 albums that he needed to deliver on it. I wanted to ask you, how did that whole situation shape your approach to life and to business now? You know, when people approach you with things, how you feel, you know, when it comes to dealing with certain situations. Did it make you a bit more ruthless? Did it make you a bit more understanding and sympathetic to, you know, newcomers and stuff like that?
You know, to add to the two examples that I gave you with regards to, you know, starting off with a particular guy that I wasn't completely in love with, and I completely forgot myself and my career to fuel and fire his career. And then also the whole topic of just kind of getting myself in different situations and different camps and different contracts because of the love and the passion that I had for music, and just wanted to just blow by all means, and then getting, you know, fucked up literally by both situations. I then joined a girl band called From Above, actually. From Above, it's 5 girls managed by Matthew Knowles at the time when Matthew Knowles and Beyonce were kind of just in the middle of severing their manager-artist relationship. And I spent 3 years in that girl band, and I learned a lot. I learned how much of a business and how much of an industry music actually is, especially doing music on that level, supporting Beyonce on her tour, her world tour, having our own reality show called Breaking From Above on MTV, being with 4 other girls that I did not know, but having to live with them, having to, you know, build a relationship with them, being a girl band, being a girl group, having to trust them, but also just having to learn that it's a business and we are all in this to make money. And Matthew Knowles really did instill a lot of values and ethics into us, and me specifically, because I was the only Black girl in the group. And I know that he was hardest on me because of that in hindsight. But I think that was really my biggest learning point, even my biggest learning experience, even more than the previous 2 examples I gave you. And I say that because I spent 3 years in that girl band, and we didn't top any charts. We didn't blow, we didn't become like this super girl band. But people did know us in different countries at the time. And so we made our little mark, but I feel like we could have probably gone a lot further if there was just probably a few more elements. But in that whole experience, I spent 3 years. Was it a wasted 3 years? Not really, because I get to say, hey, I opened up for Beyonce on tour. I get to say I learned business and I learned the music industry and the music business. I learned how to be thick-skinned because I was literally being managed by a bully. And I learned how to be thick-skinned because I was the only black girl who go to so many different events where it's predominantly white, and the girls in my band were white, basically. And so, but was it a mistake to join the group? And no, it was. Some people may say yes, because it's just that, you know, what did you really get out of it? No money, no nothing. But at the end of the day, I chose to be part of that group because I had a choice. I chose to be part of that group because I needed something to toughen me up. I needed the experience. I needed to really learn the hard way. But I wouldn't have chosen that just like on my own. I think something pushed me to do it. The opportunity presented itself also. I was in the right place at the right time. I learned most of what I know now from being from above. And so again, that is God. That was God. And that experience, plus the other two that I explained, that I let you in on earlier, kind of made me who I am now. Yes, I'm a bit more hard-headed, because now I run my own record label. And so now I have to be even harder on myself and even people that are around, knowing the kind of industry I'm in. I'm very thick-skinned. I get talked about on the internet or on TV in Nigeria or Africa every day. Like, I've been trending now on Nigerian Twitter at top 5, number 1 to 5 for like almost 2 weeks because of a TV show I'm doing called Nigerian Idol, where I'm the judge and I'm quite harsh. I'm watching that show back, actually looking at my personality on that show. It didn't surprise me, but I do come across very, very hard and strict and looking like, yo, I've been through this industry. I know what I'm talking about. I don't take no bullshit. You can't sing, get off. Or you can't sing, you're great, but you need more work. And I started to see all the things that being in this industry has made me, which is quite hard and quite harsh. But for a very good reason. But all these things were not mistakes. They were all lessons that I needed to learn. And I am who I am today, being a household name in Nigeria, still making bags, still making the bags, still stacking, still doing me, still making my own music, still putting my music out, still surviving, still standing, still popular, still strong, because of everything that I have been through. And I haven't even gotten to where I'm trying to get to. I haven't even gotten there. I'm at the tip. I'm about to really enter a completely new era of my life and my career. But I don't think I would have been ready now if I hadn't gone through and made all the decisions, choices, or mistakes that I had made all those years ago.
When you were, on Nigerian Idol and you could see yourself, not your not necessarily the image of yourself, but also, your story, your past, and really look back, how did that make you feel? Did that make you feel, it made you feel proud? Did it make you feel...
You know what's really funny? I'm going to try and get a bit deep here. Being the judge of Nigerian Idol has helped me to see a part of myself that I had never really seen before, like face to face. So I get to see myself on TV every week without fail, right? And then I get to read people's comments and feedback, right? I'm still trending, right? So I get to see some people hate me, some people love me. What do I think of myself when I'm watching Nigerian Idol, which is the biggest TV show in Nigeria right now, probably Africa right now? I think to myself, ooh, Shay, you could be a bit nicer. You could be a bit more chilled, a bit more empathetic. But then I also see like all the years that I've had to endure of just not having it easy, grinding, struggling to get heard, to get treated fairly, to get carried along, to not be the underdog anymore. All my life I've heard, oh, you've got a great voice, you've got a great voice. You're talented, but it's never been easier. No one's ever helped. They've just taken. If you remember what I said to you in the beginning about, if you have a talent, but you're not with the right surrounding, then people will just come and take from you. And coming from a Nigerian African family, I never really had the support that was necessary. So I never had that Beyonce support or that Brandy Norwood support or that Rihanna support from their families of, you're going to be a musician or you're a musician. We're going to nurture that. No, my family was more like, yay, cheering for me from the sidelines, but not really putting me or pointing me in the right directions. And so I really had to go through certain experiences and literally go through them and come out of them on my own, scarred, injured, and disappointed most times. And so seeing myself on Idols, watching myself back, and how hard I come across and how thick-skinned I come across, it's really an accumulation of all those years that I know that I've had to put into this, my career, that has brought me there. So when I'm judging somebody that cannot sing or needs work, I'm being completely honest, because I didn't get it that easy. And this is what I've been trying to, well, not trying to explain. I don't really respond to any of the press or whatever, but it's just like one of those things. And I know it's kind of deviated a bit from this whole my mistakes made me, but again, a lot of the things that happened to me, a lot of the decisions I made, the crews that I chose to follow that went nowhere, the guys that I chose to love that just used me, the groups and the contracts I signed that literally just left me with nothing. It's all made me who I am today, because now I own houses, I own cars, I own my record label. I'm working with some of the best people on the planet, music-wise, right now, and I'm making my own music. And I'm a judge of a TV show called Nigerian Idols, and I'm the most popular part, and I'm blowing, and I'm really telling you about like everything I've achieved, and it's because of everything that I went and everything that I've done, everything that I decided to do, everything I chose, all the mistakes I made, everything. It's just kind of like groomed me and made me strong and made me who I am today, still standing. So I don't really hold any of my past and say, oh, I wish I never, or regret anything. No, I don't. I just think that my time is now, and everybody gets their time, mistake or no mistake. Everybody gets their time.
It's actually amazing, what you're talking about. Even for me, I haven't had necessarily the longest, business experience or business journey, but I completely empathize with everything you're saying. I've made, mistakes, spent thousands when I shouldn't have spent thousands on events and stuff like that. And sometimes, you look back and they pain you or they feel a certain way, but if you didn't go through that, you wouldn't have been where you are today. You wouldn't have been the person you are today.
100%, 100%. And what I see a lot of right now, especially in like the generation that's really kind of just like out there right now, is really a lack of fight and tenacity, and a lack of discipline, a lack of a lack of some people have that whole hustle mentality, but some of them don't, and the ones that do even are going about it the wrong way. Like some people think you can just bust like that, right? Or because you're a social media star, you're an internet star, like you're a micro celebrity. So the internet's obviously making it easy for everybody to just like blow, but there still has to be some kind of uniqueness about you. There still has to be some kind of story. There has to be some kind of pain that you've been through, that you've experienced, in order for it to translate and transcend to the listeners, so that they can feel something, so that they can actually become your fan genuinely and for a long time. And this is what people nowadays don't actually understand. And when I say nowadays, I'm not that much older than, certain people that are out now or coming out now, but the ones that are coming out, they're not even lasting. They're not lasting. They're dropping 1 or 2 projects or 1 or 2 songs, and then there's like, for every one of them, there's like 10,000 more behind it. Do you understand? So not everybody really can stand the test of time. So when I talk about my journey in my life and people like me, that there are so many like me that came up with me, that I came up with, like, I really look at them and I know what they've been through, and I know what they've endured, and I know why their music sounds so good, and I know why they're still selling music, they're still selling records, and their music is transcending genres and flipping age groups and so like you could just tell the difference. So back to even just being on this Idols show, it's like, and I know I sound kind of like I'm going on about it because of all the backlash I've had, but backlash is also helping me and preparing me to drop this next single I'm about to drop with Yemi Alade at the end of this month. So it all works out great, right? Because I'll be trending until July, and I've got music to put out, and this is the perfect time because I haven't dropped anything in 2 years. So it's just, everything just happens, like everything just happens and works together for the good of those that just are real to themselves, trust God, and just, and embrace their journey. Everybody has their time, and that's one thing I definitely know. I definitely know that, mistake or no mistake, everybody gets their time, especially if they embrace the journey. Don't stop hustling, don't stop moving, don't stop grinding, don't stop going. Keep making the mistakes, or keep making the decisions that you want to choose. But you can choose them wisely, which is an example that I gave you before. And even, if you do make your mistakes, try and see the lesson in it, as opposed to it being a mistake and then kind of just going downhill because you made a mistake and you regret it. Like I said, I made so many, if you want to call it mistake, made so many mistakes. Friends, contracts, business moves, spent millions when I could have bought houses on music that never really gave me anything. Surrounding myself with teams that didn't know shit. Dated guys that I thought were gonna, love me. Spent money when I could have invested in different things. Yeah. But the truth of the matter is, I'm doing all of the right things now. And if I didn't go through all of those lessons then and make all those mistakes then, which I keep saying, I probably would not be this far now, just based on my environment, my sex, my color. You understand? So I just thank God that I'm still here, I'm still standing, and I'm just about to release the best music of my life, as far as I'm concerned and my team is concerned. So it's a blessing. Mistakes are a blessing. They can be a blessing sometimes. It's about embracing the journey, embracing the mistakes. And like you say, your title of your show, allowing your mistakes to make you.
Yeah, and the difference is, Warren Buffett said, the biggest mistakes he has made, are mistakes of omission and not of, things that he's actually did. Because, as you said, you learn from them and you grow from them. And you kind of answered the next question, which I want to ask. The next question I want to ask is, what advice would you give somebody who is, just starting out in their music career, and they've got the talent, but you want to teach them or want to help them grow on their journey? What?
There's several things. One thing I probably wish I did earlier is listen more and talk less.
Wow, yeah.
That might be a character thing, might be a personality thing, but for me, it's vital to listen more, talk less, whether it be to people, friends, interviews, whatever it is. Because in listening, you get to hear what is not even being said.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of navigate through certain things without having to face the repercussions of certain decisions or mistakes that you are inevitably going to make. And that's one thing. And then the other thing is that you might be talented and have all the talent in the world and play all the instruments that God ever made. But the truth is, talent is not enough. And you see that now, especially this day and age. So it's really important to surround yourself with a great team. And this is one thing I fucked up on. I did not have a good team. I didn't have no team. I was just going at it like a one-man soldier, one-man army to us. Like, you get me? And I was doing that for so long. Again, it might be a character thing, might be a personality thing, might be because of so much disappointments I had then. But the truth is, no matter what you think you can do, or no matter how much talent you have, how much money you may have, it's important to have a really good team around you, a team that will tell you the truth, a team that believes in the future of you and your brand, because that's all that is relevant now, not talent, brand. Branding is relevant. And so get a team that understands branding and sees how to make you into a brand. And don't sign anything that, you haven't had cross-checked. And when I say team, I'm talking about your lawyer, your PR, your branding, your manager, your producer, your engineer, down to your engineer. Everything has to be right before you try and go out there, and then get a really good distribution platform. Don't sign a record contract, because realistically, it can do shit for you. Just get a distribution, marketing budget support maybe, and just run it with your team. you know, because you don't want to be signing. How many albums did you say that one signed? 25.
24 albums.
I don't understand. I've never even heard that kind of thing in my life. But this is the kind of thing that people do when they're desperate and a record label is trying to just take you for a mug. You understand? I was signed to a record company back in 2014, 2015, Island Records in the UK. And I was the first Afrobeat artist in this era that they had ever signed. And so when they signed me as an Afrobeat artists, they really didn't know what to do with me because nobody else had been signed internationally at that time, not Davido, not Wiz, not any of them. And so it was too early because Afrobeat hadn't made that impact on the globe yet, right? So they just put me there and I was just there for 2-3 years. Another mistake or decision I chose to make and see the bright side of. But I really didn't do anything after that. And so it was like, I couldn't push it out because, you know, it was always not right. And they weren't willing to put the budget behind it because it just wasn't right. And then, so, you know, my God-blessed fellow musicians, my homies, my people, my family started to break ground in different territories. Wiz started breaking ground in America. You know, David, different people started to break ground. Yemi Alade, they started to break ground and go at it alone with just distribution and start to sell out O2, sell out Wembley, all these things with no record label. There's me sitting in the record label doing what? That's why I say now, it doesn't make sense because now they're all coming back to us as well, trying to, you know, giving us better deals, right? Or just offering distribution, which is really the biggest thing, the most important thing that, you know, you would really need, and a good team, obviously, if you're trying to do your thing in music now.
My last question that we always ask every single guest that comes on is, what is the best mistake you've ever made?
The best mistake? To be honest with you, like, so I can tell you the best mistake out of all the mistakes that I just told you about, which I don't consider to be mistakes, remember. I consider to be lessons and my vehicle that got me to where I am now. Best mistake, probably trying sushi, and now I love it. That was a good cello, but you asked the question and I'm telling you the truth, so.
Okay, that's an amazing way to end it. But thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye, guys.